Hey everybody, what's up? Digi Bro here. Time for another big mail video. This one actually won't be as big. It's a smaller crop of mail. The mail seems to have finally slowed down a little bit, which is fine because these videos were getting kind of long. So as long as there's not an essay hidden in one of these, then this should go a little bit quicker than they usually do. This first one is it's sent by Royal Mail, but it doesn't have a name on it, so an interesting shape too. We've got a letter in here as well as a nice photograph, but it says "letter first please" on it, and a 3x3 that's printed very beautifully. Let's read the letter. Everything to read aloud if you want. References to pictures in the text. Hey Digi, I just failed a master's degree and wanted to thank you for being there. I've known that I had to be a scientist from way back beyond memory, and despite suffering my way through every minute of high school and undergrad paper writing, somehow saw fit to sign up for more last year. Fucking humans, right? Your not forcing it video was, with only some hyperbole, a religious experience for this particular idiot. Only instead of needing to be a director, it was, holy shit, I like science, but I hate every aspect of actually doing science. Grant applications are basically just a bureaucratic punishment regime, and a poor review is literally just an anxiety disorder starter kit. When in the fuck am I expecting this to get good? Whatever collision of context, tone, and timing you managed to hit me with has allowed me to change the narrative, and without it, it's likely that failing this degree and pissing several thousand pounds up the wall would have had me inhibiting my reuptake of serotonin again, if you know what I mean. Sorry if I'm stumbling through this. The handwriting has this very, semi-cursive feel that makes it difficult for me. I'm too stupid for this handwriting. So, sorry if this comes off as cloying, but whatever new creative doors you fuck open in the future, in a small way, you'll always be my Kamina/prophet of getting the fuck out. Don't die in episode 8, please, and certainly don't read this aloud and trigger YouTube. I would send you some things as thanks, but alas the UK web goods market is peasant tier. International shipping is a meme, and I fear that my conservative friends won't support my transitioning to BIFAG. Instead, since I know you disdain the outside world, enclosed is a picture of my thinking cliff. Please refer to picture. You have a thinking cliff? I want a thinking cliff. I have a thinking beach, I guess. But a thinking cliff is pretty fucking awesome. What does it say on this? This is like 5 minutes walk from my house, so I've made the shot as anonymous as possible, but will be impressed if my corner of bumfuck nowhere has another Digi fan who can recognize it. I'm just jealous of the fucking cliff. I want a thinking cliff. That's it. That's everything I have. The chance to write to you, my cute 3x3, my clumsy Bakemonogatari reference, and this cloudy sky. 3x3 is made up of waifu exclusively, because otherwise it would just be all KyoAni, Trigger, and a couple of sops to propriety in the form of some of the same ultra quality productions that any internet motherfucker always includes. Unless they are some kind of fetishist for a production aspect or character archetype, or are 16 and still sexually identify as light novel guy. And I will not perpetuate this meme that needs to die. Please refer to 3x3. I like your logic here. Alright, so this is a waifu-based 3x3. We've got Chitanda Eru from Hyoka, who is always curious about everything. Oh My Kumiko from Hibike Euphonium, who just seems to be in this incredibly bizarre pose. Echizen-san from Tanaka-kun is Always Listless, which I still have not watched yet. Please do not play favorites with the K-ons, for they are all perfect, is what it says. This is fair. Eyebrows Ojo-sama from Kill La Kill, which of course is Satsuki. Everyone's waifu. Diesel-san Imai Midori from Shiro fucking Bako. I share the same taste in Bakos. Saten Ruiko from a certain scientific railgun. She's pretty cool. Girl of the Year all years, which is just Endless Jess. And of course Kanbaru Suruga from Bakemonogatari, who's also my favorite. Very choice taste in waifus here, I gotta say. And while this letter is still on a soapbox, can we all stop starting our letters with the exact prefaces on how we don't often write letters in 2016. Wow. Or how our handwriting is bad. Join the club. That are detected in Digi's common writing mistakes video. The dude is chill enough to give us the chance to directly affect the quality of content on his channel, so I guess remember that these letters are content as well as just particularly personal form of feedback. You wouldn't make Digi put out weak content, so... And then it's in Japanese. It says... I can't read all these kanji. I can't read the kanji in this. Fair point. This is something that Devu often brings up, that bad comments are bad content, and if you sort of expect that people are going to respect your comments, then you should put as much effort into the comment as someone put into the video that you're commenting on. Maybe not necessarily the same level of effort, because, you know, I get paid to make my videos, you don't get paid to leave comments, and the transaction is more minor, but certainly the more effort I feel has been put into something, the more likely I am to respond to it. Which is why, you know, regardless of how well they're written, I do read all the letters, because the effort it takes to fucking mail something is enough to make it, you know, worthwhile. And if someone actually, like, was critical of my show and sent it in a, like, written letter to my house, I think I'd be more reticent to respond to the criticism for sure. Oh, it says, trying to write minasan ganbatte in my hilarious attempt at moon runes. It's impossible to cipher. They're fun, though. Yeah, so it says, minasan ganbatte, which means everyone do your best. Outburst aside, Digi, you're in the procrastinator's corner of the internet is my favorite, and I wish you the greatest success with the Conpad / Rad Cove, whatever you're calling the house now. From one guy who had friends move in with him to another, contracted cleaners are pretty cheap and are a potent source of the power of friendship. Someone always hates doing the most, or dirt the most. Many thanks for your unconscious support through what would have otherwise been my hitting bedrock. This week and the my hitting bedrock this week and the opportunity to shout at your fans by proxy. Lots of love to the other Digibros and the procrastinators in residence. P.S. Fuck postscripts. Have some self-respect and plan your letter, but you hacks. I can't read this one either. I can't do fucking kanji. I can do all the regular Japanese characters, but I can't do kanji. It says, oh something de something des. Oware des, maybe? Oware, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, thanks. Entertaining letter. As for the housekeeping stuff, you know, Devu is the one who hates dirt most out of us. Me and Ben have no scruples whatsoever and don't give a fuck. Nor do Victor and Shade, really. So he's the only one who's been, like, trying to keep stuff clean. I have bought a massive number of foam plates and cups and plastic utensils so that I don't have to do dishes anymore. So that's how I resolved that. Where'd that other package go? There was a yellow one. Alright, this next one is from an Adam in Ohio, and it's shaped like so. Pull here, slowly. It is I. Oh, I don't know if I can pull there slowly enough. Cloudman. It is I, Cloudman, with a USB. Kind of ironic that Cloudman would, instead of using cloud storage, send a USB stick. Nice little USB there. Hi there, Digibro. Nice to meet you for the third time. It is I, Cloudman. I hope you're doing well. I guess I'll find out in this episode of Digi Gets Mail. If I've timed this out correctly, we should be interacting on number 14, right? This particular piece of postage that you hold has traversed many perilous parsecs and has hopefully arrived in one piece. I do hope that a bunch of pirates aren't looking for it. But if you received it in a white envelope, then Kevin is stealing my mail again. On a more serious note, laughs, I have enclosed this yellow bubbled letter transport, a flash drive containing the beats I had spoken of in my previous mail. I do hope that you and yours enjoyed them, as well as other stuff that I put on there to justify sending a 16GB flash drive. Not that kind of other stuff. Get your mind out of the gutter. Gee. Speaking of gutters, I am writing this at the tail end of the presidential town hall meeting. It's like two aging tsunderes having a flirting match. I am still trying to decide which anime that I want to put in the last 3 slots of my 3x3. The current candidates include Serial Experiments Lain, Gurren Lagann, and Kill La Kill. It's so unexpected. They're all really solid and deserving of a slot on any 3x3 in my eyes, and I can get a lot of meanings out of all of them, but I can't help but think that I'll find something else whilst randomly browsing the anime market. Who knows, something might come out next year. Either that or it already came out 20 years ago. I've actually been wanting to give K-On! Another shot. The way you describe how the narrative plays out actually sounds pretty interesting. In other news, I'm going to see Shin Gojira on Tuesday/today. This film has been a long time coming, and I have been gleefully anticipating its arrival since the rumors began to circulate long ago in the deep, dark recesses of the internet. My screen is fogged by bated breath, finally released upon learning that this colossal kaiju cartel of Toho glory will be in a theater nearby. My flesh crawls with the gruesome of hype, especially considering Hideaki Anno's involvement. I said gruesome, but it said goosebumps. I just hope that I'm not foaming at the mouth when the title screen plays. That would imply that I was bitten by a ravenous rabies beast while having tea time with Sam Squanch. Sam Squanch. By the way, I saw Shin Godzilla. It was great. I've been watching your My Music History, Taste, and Influences video lately. There's a peculiar noise at about 1 hour and 47 minutes. Having only begun watching you in the last few months, I've not really heard you talk so in depth about your past experience listening to and making music. It was certainly fascinating, and it's given me quite a lot of things to seek out for myself, not to mention reigniting an interest in Mastodon. I guess I'll be jamming Blood Mountain for a while. Circle of Sasquatch is my personal favorite track from that album. I noticed that when you were talking about The Plastic Beach, you said that you hadn't listened to the fourth Gorillaz album. I assume you were referring to The Fall. It's quite good. One of my friends often complains that it's not driving music. Admittedly, they're correct. It's a super chill album, but I like listening to that sort of music while driving, though lately I have been on another jazz kick. Weather Report and Mahavishnu Orchestra have been my vice. You'll be happy to know that I'm finally getting my YouTube channel going. I've had it set up almost a year and am finally going to upload something. Since there are already a bunch of music channels out there and channels focusing on analytics are pretty frequent as well, I'm going to do the one thing that's within my budget and totally won't make me look like a lazy 278-year-old man with long hair. Vlogging. Pause for dramatic effect. I'm going to do some short films as well, and evolve my channel into something that's actually interesting over time, though this is, without a shadow of a doubt, part of a much larger scheme. Well, I know that you had a lot of mail to get to, so I'll not keep you much longer. 8 pages isn't long, right? Just kidding. I'm just finishing up now. Thanks for taking an interest in what I and others have to say. I think I speak for all of us when I say thanks for reading all of those letters. It's nice to see so much effort put into a mail segment. They've been going on about an hour lately. As for the beats, I hope that, if anything, you get some enjoyment out of them. If you or anybody in your crew likes them, you are all welcome to them. You're a bunch of really talented and cool people, and the possibility of anybody that cool making use of something that I made, especially something that has no future in my hands, no matter how slight, is a great joy to my stoic heart. It's been good. Till next time, it was I, Cloudman! Peace out. Adam Holsinger. P.S. I was serious about that pirate thing. Lock your doors tonight. Wait, what's that? A noise in the hallway. A scream. Screaming in the background. Oh no! They got Victor! Hide the One Piece! They can't be allowed to have it! They're right behind you! Run, Digibro, run! Digibro? Oh no. They got him. Rest in peace, Digibro. As the current road nears its end, I find myself gazing once more to the supple light reflected from its fork. Taters. Well, Cloudman, that was an entertaining letter. I will probably put in a clip now of me listening to your beats.
Hi there, Digibro. It is I, Cloudman. Nice to meet you for the 4th time. I figured, I'm sending you stuff. I might as well send you a video readme file for this, 8 gigabyte flash drive. No, it's a 16 gig. I need to justify sending a 16 gig flash drive to Myrtle Beach. I'm probably never going to see it again, and that's cool. That's cool. Enjoy the flash drive. but I'm going to fill it up with a whole bunch of stuff. It's probably only going to be halfway full, but you know, whatever. At least I tried. So, on the flash drive, as seen right here, you will have 3 folders at the beginning. 3 main folders with numbers on them. The first of which is the beats. The second of which is some stuff. And the third of which is some more stuff. Not that kind of stuff. Get that dirty brain out of the poo pile. Nasty. Nasty boy. So, folder number 1. Within that folder, there are 5 subfolders. The first of the folders includes little rough mix downs, so you can put them on an iPod, play them in your car, rap over top of them to see if you like them to begin with. Folder numbers 2 through 5, sorry, include the stems in WAV format, of course. You know, WAV's a good file type. So yeah, .wav includes all the stems for all the tracks. So NZ Shidu can put them into FL Studio, or you could do that. I don't know. Do what they feel they need to. You know, you guys could change the compositions in some of them. For all I care, I don't really care. You know, if you guys want to use them, by all means, use them. Have fun with them. You know, they're beats. They're cool. Why not have fun with them, right? I believe you mentioned Endless Jest in Digi Gets Mail 12. I believe he's the one you mentioned, and yes, I would be interested in him rapping over some of this. In fact, anyone from your camp that wants to rap over this, by all means, it's there. Go for it. You know, it's yours if you want it. That's the basic gist of things, and I'm saying the same thing over and over again at this point. So we're going to move on to the actual README file in that folder, folder 1. That is, and it's got all the key information, the tempo information, and a small letter of me rambling, and you know, contact information in case something's wrong with one of the beats, and I could send you another copy or something. It'd be faster by email. Or not. You know, whatever. I don't care. I got stuff to do too. Folder number 2 in the overall gist of things is some music that I've done in my past. Probably, yeah, since 2012, it's all the digital stuff. You know, my last album as Cloudman is in there. Mysterion Prime. That's a lot of fun. Well, yeah, it is fun. You'd probably enjoy it. You know, it's a fun listen. Then, you know, a lot of the other stuff is just standalone things. You know, there's a Gorillaz cover in there, you know. Just cool things, you know. Couple of the EPs I've done. One that's basically incomplete, that is incomplete. And, of course, Booty. What is Booty, you might ask? Booty is an incredibly trashy piece that I did in 2013, 2014. I don't remember when exactly. It was a while back. And it's about booty and wanting to touch booty. It's every bit as nasty as it sounds. So, yeah, if you did like a top 10 booties of 2016 in anime type of video, I guess you could use that, you know. I'm not proud of it, but, you know, if you want to use that, have fun. But only for the trashiest of things. I don't know, that's just a running suggestion. Yeah. Having trouble pronouncing things. Suggestion. That's just a running suggestion that I had. Came up with it not too long ago. I thought it would be a funny thing to mention. But yeah, that's folder 2. Folder 3. That's some image stuff, you know, some JPEGs, mostly posters that I've done. There's probably like 7 or 8 images in there total. Pieces of the posters that I've done. A lot of stuff about Frankenstein and then, well, some more prompts. I don't even think there are other things. There's a bar that we play at called Frankenstein. And it's like the ultimate dive bar. So yeah, I included some posters for that from way back in the day. A couple of Photoshop bits, you know, just images. No wiener pics though. I had to deny you that pleasure. So yeah, that's basically it. Sadly, in the music department, on folder number 2 though, I'm not able to send you stuff I want to send you. I have stuff that I'm really proud of that I've done in the last year that, in my opinion, is just awesome. You know, there's a video game soundtrack that I did, but that's up in the air right now with the copywriting stuff, and I'm not supposed to send that out until all that stuff is done. Then there's the band Full-Fledged Assault. That album's actually going into production, and I'm not going to send, you know, demo tracks out right now. I got to make sure every inch of my posterior is covered before I, you know, let any cracks slip. Sorry about that. It's not an issue of trust with you or anything. It's my issue of trust with everybody. Alright, serious face. Serious face. Bye!
I absolutely want to use the booty song. The booty beat is perfect. I'm just gonna give this flash drive straight to Shade. There's like a ton of stems and stuff on here, and like what I'm assuming all that stuff in there is stuff to put into Fruity Loops to make new sounds, like synths and stuff. That's cool. I'm excited to see what Shade's gonna think of that. There's so many beats in here. I did not expect there to be so many beats. I will probably use a bunch. I love this booty beat. I need the booty. I want the booty. Alright, this next one comes from Oakland, California, which is the city I was born in, and it's got no name on it. Dear Digibro, thank you for putting out content. For the longest time, all I have watched were objective reviews of anime, and I have been into, which was in quotations, and I have been into anime since high school. One day while watching one such review, I began to realize that this style of journalism gave me absolutely nothing outside of here is this anime I do or don't like and what happens in it. There was no honesty, no substance, and I've always felt something was wrong with it, especially since movies, music, and even some video game review channels gave honest criticism. Yet I had never seen one anime reviewer that did the same thing. So I threw up my hands, typed gonzo/honest anime review, can't remember which one it was, and one of your videos was at the top, so I clicked on it, and from then on I had the kind of reviews and analysis I was begging for. I cannot believe that someone actually found me by searching Gonzo anime review. That's fucking awesome. If you didn't produce the kind of content that you do in the way that you do, I would never be able to have the appreciation for anime the way that I do for movies, books, television, and video games. I now have a better understanding that Gurren Lagann is a take on the hero's journey, something I have always had a fascination with, and I have an appreciation for Kill La Kill that would never have been there if you had not made the parallels to duality and fascism. That latter part, I might be thinking of something else, so correct me if that's the case. No, you're right. I was also able to come to grips with the fact that SAO really was a bad anime, and I was suckered into thinking it was one of the greatest shows made because I watched it when I was only 17 and was just getting serious about watching anime. Basically, this letter is my way of saying thank you for providing me with anime reviews no one else gave to me, and for giving me the new way to look at and analyze the medium that I've loved before I even knew it came from Japan. Everything you make, I think is interesting, even if I don't agree with everything you say. Your videos are always worth watching. In this envelope, along with this long-ass thank you, is also a few other things. One is a visual 3x3, or the usual 3x3. I know you said you're getting tired of them, but I can't help but join the bandwagon since your thoughts on them are always interesting anyways. Then there is another 3x3, 3xe, except, and I don't know if someone already did something like this, so I apologize, but I thought it would be interesting anyway. Instead of just anime, I will have my 3 favorite anime, movies, and video games, just to throw you a bit of a curveball. You might enjoy, excuse the formatting on those, for it's my first time doing such things, and my editing software is not exactly good. Finally, I also included what Finally, I also included what I titled the AWBBT fallacy, or Art Was Better Back Then fallacy. The title I hope is self-explanatory, and at the very least I hope you find it an interesting read. Sincerely yours, Bill Friday. P.S. I hope you like the font. I wanted to try something less conventional. It's interesting. It looks kind of like a manga font. Like if you were typesetting like a fan translation of a manga, you'd probably use a font kind of like this. A few days ago, I was watching a clip for the new Escaflowne dub put out by Funimation. I have never seen Escaflowne. In fact, it was only recently that I heard more than just the name. But from what I understand, it's an anime from the 90s, and very beloved one at that. From what I could see, I liked it, and was excited for the redub, especially since one of my all-time favorite voice actors will be in it. At that same time, I went against my better judgment and scrolled down to read the comments, and fortunately, most of them seemed to be positive, and much to my relief also. Then I came across a comment that caught my attention. It said something along the lines of, anime was so much more emotional back then, and then they had some people agreeing with them on that opinion. I had half a mind to reply to their comment to give my own thoughts on that opinion, but I have a policy against discussing opinions in a YouTube comment section, so I kept my mouth shut. But what I wanted to say to them was, if anime was better back then, and nothing today can seem to surpass it, then should we stop making anime altogether? Of course, that's just hyperbole, but that's how I would start my argument to an opinion like this, and leads me to the broader question of why can't we seem to make any kind of art today that's ever as good as it was in the past? And my answer is, you don't, you just make good art worth remembering. See, comments like anime/movies/music/any artistic medium in general was better back, or AWBBT fallacy as I call it, burn my ass for so many reasons. Not all I will get into, but at least one most certainly. The one that comes to mind that the most is that people are looking at any medium through a narrow and biased point of view. What do I mean by that? Well, you see the lineup of movies that have been released over the last few months, and either watch movies themselves or read the reviews that you'll see so many are pretty bad and not worth the watch at all, with one good movie coming out every few weeks at best, and that makes a lot of sense when you look at it like that. But then, how is it possible that in the decades that passed, the only things that came out were all of the classics that we remember well? You can say that people back then really cared about putting out a great product, but the truth is that back then, crap came out just as often as it does today. There's always been bad media like it was an assembly line, and there were people who didn't care about making a good product and just wanted to make something that could make them a quick buck, same as it is today. The reason we say that movies, music, anime, or whatever was better back then is really just us looking at the backlog of art that is worth remembering and looking back on, which all has its own style ideas, stylistic or content trends it followed for its time, while also looking at it through rose-tinted glasses. It's no wonder people say art was better in decades past, since we mostly remember only the good stuff, while the cheap and meaningless stuff was left by the wayside where it should. They can even think the styles are also better since they're usually attached to such great works. It's almost logical to see why people think this about art today and then. I'll even admit I kinda sided with that viewpoint for a short while when I decided to become a movie buff, but back then I wasn't as informed or had as much of a nuanced perspective as I do today. And today I not only believe art being made is still going to be good, but it's also better. Yes, CGI has a tendency to not only look bad, but also fake, but then making larger-than-life story doesn't have to be as expensive, or be as back-breakingly hard if you put in the effort. Editing has gotten better since we can now use digital technology, rather than needing to handle sensitive celluloid film, and machines made today can capture or make scenes with angles no one was ever able to achieve before. With limitations slowly but surely being removed, our way of making art is only improving, and while cheap, meaningless stuff is going to get made just because there's always people not willing to put forward any effort, people who want to make something that has meaning will also be around to make art that will always last, have us coming back to it. In the end, there will never be a point in time when the quality of our media will drop to a point where it will be meaningless to try and make more. Yes, there will be peaks and valleys of any medium, art style, or subject matter, and there will be stylistic trends that will be popular during a certain decade that you'd like to see again. That does not make any trends going on today or in the future any less meaningful as time goes on, and it's no reason to make people think it's useless to keep trying if they won't be able to reach such non-existent standards. Just focus on making good art that has meaning and will last forever, not creating a discouraging stereotype. Yeah, I agree with all those sentiments, as you are probably aware, since I've ranted about some stuff like that before. Okay, he's got a pair of 3x3s here, both of which have some of the same stuff. Okay, one is an anime 3x3, which he interestingly used all the logos for the shows. So Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7, Madoka Magica, Nisekoi, ReZero, Tokyo Ghoul, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, and Fate Stay Night. This is an interesting one. I don't think I've seen Nisekoi on a lot of 3x3s before. Obviously, you probably know how I feel about ReZero, and I did drop Tokyo Ghoul, but the rest of these I'm all more or less... Well, I didn't watch Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works either, but I do like all the other stuff on here. So yeah, pretty even mix of stuff that I do or don't like myself. But as for the taste on display, it's kind of all over the place. I really get why FMA, Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7, those are all very similarly like Hero's Journey-ish, like, adventure stories that are just like following a character's progression as they grow up. Very coming of age. Madoka is kind of a coming of age story. But the other ones, I mean, Nisekoi and Yamada-kun are both romantic comedies. And the other stuff are all just kind of edgy, cool, fun shows that are pretty popular. Now, as for comparing them against his favorite in other mediums, he's got FMA, Madoka, and Gurren Lagann. His 3 favorite films, Pulp Fiction, Mad Max Fury Road, and Birdman, which are all great. And his favorite games appear to be Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite, and Spec Ops: The Line, which I have not played Bioshock or Spec Ops, so I have no opinion of those. I did not like Bioshock Infinite, though, for all the reasons Matthew Matosis talked about in his video. But, yeah, interesting 3x3s and letter. So, alright, now the last thing we've got here is this big old package, which comes from a Satomi Hinatsu in New York. I have no idea if they're an actual Japanese person or if that is just a weeb name, because it kind of sounds like one. But this seems to be 2 parcels of some kind inside here. Hi Digi, the main reason I'm sending this is because I was getting rid of stuff and I found some VHS tapes that Devu might like. Tell him, or hate, tell him I love his videos and that he's my favorite procrastinator. Since I didn't want to just give you nothing to talk about, here's a waifu 3x3. Are my own characters allowed to be waifus? Haha, from Satomi. And it's got a picture of what looks like Devu's avatar, or his little thumb guy. And the 3x3, they're like all pink-haired. I can't see it well enough in the camera, but I'll read them off. The ones I can recognize. It's just all pink-haired girls. There's the pink-haired girl from Nichijou, the pink-haired girl from Sword Art Online, the pink-haired girl from Yu Yu Shiki, what looks like Jakuzure Nonon from Kill La Kill, but I'm not sure. A pink-haired girl I don't recognize. A notebook from what looks like Inanimate Insanity. I don't know if that's from Inanimate Insanity or a different object show that's similar, but I do voice act on the show Inanimate Insanity, for those who don't know. And then there's, I think Minerva, or is that Minerva or the other girl from Homestuck? I think it might be the girl whose name starts with an A and I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, if you can identify any of the other characters that I can't, then, oh, there's a fucking guide on the back. Lizbeth, Yuzuko, Nonon with her hair down, Tachibana Misato, Gati, Yui, Aradia, that's who it was, Aradia from Homestuck, Detective Mom, and Book from BFDI. I don't know BFDI, but I think it's another show that's like Inanimate Insanity. An object show, as they are called. So, alright, here's the VHSs that she has sent for the Devu. We've got a Roly-Poly-Oly movie, The Great Defender of Fun, which this totally looks like something Devu would enjoy. And Jumpstart Jukebox. Sing along and learn with music and fun, based on the #1 educational software, with 19 hit music videos. Oh my god. Look at this rhino. This is fucking hilarious. DJ Frankie is spinning his favorite music from the Jumpstart learning system and teaching everything from language arts to animals. These finger-snapping tunes are easy to sing and easier to learn for kids of all ages. The #1 educational software delivers on the perfectly playful combination of fun and education in Jumpstart Jukebox. Amazing. Well, I'll be sure to give these to Devu, and I'll probably film his reaction. So, here's that. And thanks again to everybody who sent all the stuff. Hey, Devu.
Hey. What? Oh. Yeah.
Say hello to
Hey.
whoever sent that.
Hi, did you the main reason? Oh, wait. This has already been read.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. I've never seen Jumpstart. Looks like it's got an eclectic mix of CG and traditional animation. I have seen Roly Poly Oly. It's been a while. Don't know. I'm sure I haven't seen this particular episode.
I think it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie. Well, okay then. I'll add. That's now added to my collection. It's now 4 VHS tapes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been like a week since I recorded that first part of this video that you just watched. I didn't get around to editing it in the time since filming it. I've been extremely busy. I've just been keeping myself working on all kinds of different projects, so I haven't actually had time to edit that video. And thankfully, since the mail is still coming in a lot slower than it was before, and since the first half of this video was a little bit shorter than some of the mail vlogs have been, I figured I'd just tack the new stuff that I've got onto it. I've got 2 letters and a package. Very excited about the package because I think there's a t-shirt in it. But we're going to start with this letter that has a drawing of what I assume is either me or the younger Taguro brother from Yu Yu Hakusho, or possibly both, from Connecticut. So let's see what's in this. Okay, this is cool. It's a handwritten letter, but in very good handwriting and with some fucking cool drawings all over it. I think, is that Shredder? Is that Master Shredder, but like with a, like, as the head of a dragon or something? I don't know what that is, but it's awesome. From October 12th, 2016. Dear Digibro, as the bewitching winds color the canvas of Mother Nature from green to orange to brown, I hope your path through anime binging goes well. Never take for granted your own perspective you bring to the medium's evolution. You share your 2 cents in a manner that's critical without sinking into the whirlpool of cynicism so many other reviewers do. Whether you sport the Gandalf beard or the 5 o'clock shadow, your wit and open-minded curiosity keep both your main channel and Digibro After Dark alive. I just noticed that's Hiei doing the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. It took me a second, but that's totally what's going on there. That's awesome. I go by the alias Foghorn Scorpio on the internet. I've started watching your content regularly since late June and was pleased to discover eventually that you were only 3 days older than me, on top of our tastes having common ground. Many months before the summer, I stumbled upon your Why Good Anime is Hard to Make video, the very first one I saw from you. For whatever reason, I enjoyed the concise info you provided, yet I was too depressed by my personal life to watch more of your material. Between late 2014 to early 2015, I was burned by the final arcs of the Naruto manga. I tried out an anime called Infinite Stratos, assuming I would get a mecha show fused with romance, but it was actually a harem show, and one of the worst I encountered. I wasn't ready to use Hulu and Crunchyroll regularly, so I got a Blu-ray from holiday sale on Right Stuff. Ugh, nothing sucks worse than buying something and then it's terrible. To add insult to injury, I got laid off from an art handling warehouse job and haven't managed to find work in a year and a half. Ooh. Earlier this morning, I watched Random Drunk Ass Anime History Episode 3, The Death of Anime, where you joked that if you ever went on an anime is dying tangent, that we should kill you. Guess what? I was a misanthropic cynic concerning anime throughout 2015. I might have gotten a decent enjoyment out of Mirai Nikki, Attack on Titan, and Space Dandy, but only because there was nowhere to go but up after purging Naruto from my physical manga collection and leaving my Narutard era behind. Even then, I wondered if I'd ever love anime again, with the same open-minded optimism I had from 1998 to 2011. That's actually a pretty good long period to have been optimistic about anime. See, I never gave light novel-influenced series a chance because I considered my taste to be fairly masculine up until the start of this decade. I didn't even know what a light novel was until 2011, and had any exposure to the Haruhi and Lucky Star was limited to AMVs of people like Nostromo. In fairness, I don't think most people knew what light novels were until then. I definitely was an early adopter of that. I was in high school between 2006 and 2010, and the anime I preferred at the time were Miyazaki's early fantasy movies, Trinity Blood, The Angel, The Paprika for its masterful surrealism, Cowboy Bebop, Nerima Daikon Brothers, Gurren Lagann, and Yu Yu Hakusho. At that time, it didn't occur to me to consciously seek anime with subversive or ironic elements. Even when I finally began appreciating irony and was curious to learn about light novel shows, Bakemonogatari was the only show I was willing to sample, and to this day I haven't watched past the first episode due to other priorities in my life. The reason I mentioned what my tastes were nearly a decade ago was to build up to why I started watching your content more often. At the start of this year, my sister moved into her own condo and would allow me to give One Punch Man the anime a chance if she could recommend anime she liked, from Death Parade to Shokugeki no Soma to even The Seven Deadly Sins, the only average title of the bunch. Among others on her big HDTV. I was filled with such hope for newer anime that I decided to revisit an old high school era favorite I hadn't marathoned in years, called Yu Yu Hakusho, to see if Yoshiro Togashi's work held up by scrutiny. By the way, this is probably not Shredder, it's probably Bui, who is the guy who Hiei fights in the Dragon of the Darkness Flame fight. Anyway. By God, the adventures of Yusuke Urameshi wowed me the same way they did back when I saw it in late 2007 to mid-2008. Kurama and Hiei remained among my top favorite anti-heroes to this day. When I finished the most recent marathon of that shonen classic in June, I stumbled upon your content all over again, starting with your Yu Yu Hakusho review. I was so grateful you mentioned Akiyuki Shinbo's episodes he directed, giving him the credit he deserved for taking the source material with its elements and pushing it further with his surrealism. That said, you're missing the other reason Shinbo's Yu Yu Hakusho differed from his future work, key animator Atsushi Wakabayashi. This was obviously sent before Shinbo in the 90s Part 1 came out, so I wonder if this guy's probably excited about that video. Without Shinbo's trippy atmosphere fusing with Wakabayashi's pushing the human form into outer space and back again, the battle between Hiei and Bui would not be the masterpiece we remember it as. Yeah, Atsushi Wakabayashi's pretty cool. That's the only guy who I make like extensive mention of in the Akiyuki Shinbo in the 90s video, partly because I wrote the first half of it last year, and like at the time I was more focusing on like people who Shinbo worked with, but as I went along I got less interested in that in like the second part of the writing, and focused more on just Shinbo's techniques, because there wasn't as many like names that I could easily put to a thing. Like Atsushi Wakabayashi, you can really tell his animation and like what's special about it, and you know, he worked with Shinbo on a couple shows, but unfortunately, you know, not a whole ton throughout his career. Still, seeing your thoughts on a title that got me through my darkest moments in high school back in the day got me giddy enough to consume more of your content. That same day, I checked out What is the Appeal of Anime and The Master in the Background of 40 Years of Anime, and I knew from that moment you were my favorite YouTuber. I still have my reservations about the light novel medium, but the manner in which you share your nuanced feelings will make it easier for me to find the diamond in the rough and maybe give Bakemonogatari a second chance. Around the past few months, I discovered what I felt to be the first game-changer anime I stumbled upon since Madoka Magica and Gurren Lagann, the surreal show Mob Psycho 100. With each passing day, I find myself calling one a revolutionary, the way I considered Hiroyuki Imaishi and Yo Yoshinari innovative in the past decade. Both great. I would love to pick your brain over how diverse you've revealed your music taste to be, but I'll save that for another letter. I'll just say this: the way the concept albums by Coheed and Cambria appealed to you was how I felt about Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, along with Meatloaf's Bat Outta Hell trilogy for many years. It's also how I currently feel about Devin Townsend's Ziltoid saga of albums. See you, Space Cowboy. Sincerely, Foghorn Scorpio. Yeah, I do like, I like Dark Side of the Moon a lot. I think it's a fucking great album. The Wall is one where I love the movie and I love all the singles, but some of the like weird, like just like nothing tracks on that album I can't really get through. Bat Out of Hell, I fucking love. I love the song Bat Out of Hell. I love the song Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Don't care as much about the rest of the album, but like Bat Out of Hell is a fucking badass song. Haven't really ever gotten into Devin Townsend though, but I think I should share a little bit about Yu Yu Hakusho because I never really addressed this in any of my videos about it. That like I did grow up on Yu Yu Hakusho. Like I watched it in 2001 to 2002, like that era, because it first aired on Adult Swim. It was one of the first shows on Adult Swim. Like they started with Cowboy Bebop, and then they introduced like a block where it was Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Hakusho, Outlaw Star, Tenchi Muyo, Gundam 0080, I think, and Pilot Candidate. And the thing is, like, Cowboy Bebop and Yu Yu Hakusho were the first two, and those were the two that I was, like, way into. And then they would air Pilot Candidate, and that show fucking blows. So I would always, like, I would never make it to the end of Adult Swim. I very rarely got to actually see Outlaw Star and Tenchi Muyo. But yeah, like, I was way into Yu Yu Hakusho when I was, like, real young. I mean, I was born in 1991. You said you're only 3 days older than me, so, I would have been 10 or 11 at the time that Yu Yu Hakusho was on TV. And it was definitely one of my favorite shows, because there's a bunch of cool dudes fighting demons and shit. But it was the kind of show that, like, I mostly had seen the first arc over and over again, like everything up to the Dark Tournament. I only saw the Dark Tournament once. I saw everything up to it several times because they would rerun it. And, on Adult Swim, they play the same block twice in the same night. So once they gutted out all the like shitty shows from Adult Swim, and it was just the cooler stuff that they started running later, I would stay up all night and watch both runs. So I'd see every episode twice, and then I'd see it again if they reran the show. So I saw all the first arc of Yu Yu Hakusho like probably 4 times. But like in my memory, I didn't remember it being like an amazing show. I just remembered it being a show I liked when I was young that was really no different from like a Naruto or a Bleach or anything else. Not that those are like terrible especially in their early parts, but like it was when I went back and watched it, recently because of Hunter x Hunter, because Hunter x Hunter was so fucking good that I was like, I really got to go back and watch Yu Yu Hakusho, and it kind of blew me away. I mean, I would consider it one of my favorite shows, and I didn't expect that at all, so that was a cool experience. Alright, this next one is from Jacksonville. It does not have a name on it, but it is a big ol' letter. Hi Digi Bro, behavior analysis researcher here. Sincere thanks for your thoughts on my previous letter. It's comforting to know you understand my position while many of my own colleagues do not. Your recent video on your music history sounded like a bit of a challenge for us viewers to send you obscure tunes to sample. Here are a few of my recommended musicians as a YouTube playlist, case sensitive. It's actually a Google link, so if anybody else wants to check out these music recommendations. I was initially going to present this as a 3x3, but that didn't make any goddamn sense. What even is a 3x3? This whole thing is arbitrary and no one uses the same formatting guidelines. Shit. By the way, this is the most... I like that this person sent me a text link, which ordinarily, if someone does that, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to type that. But they clearly used a link shortener so that the link is very small. So that's, a little bit more likely. Alright, so number 1, Kaiser's Orchestra. I first heard of this band from an old Flash animation called War, and I am so happy that the creator cited the music they used. Why doesn't everyone do this? I don't speak a word of Norwegian, but the sound and structure of KO was enough to get me hooked. It wasn't until years later that I started reading lyric translations and saw there's a whole winding narrative of interconnected plot lines and recurring characters, almost like some kind of Tarantino-style noir. You seem to pay a lot of attention to beat structures and percussions, so I think you'll dig the signature bash this oil drum with a 2x4 as hard as you can style and their amazing live performances. They did this one concert on top of a giant moving steam-powered stage that I cannot seem to find on the internet anymore. KO retired a few years ago and are no longer making music in case you wanted to binge their material like you do anime. Sounds potentially pretty cool. I've listened to plenty of Scandinavian metal music, which is what this sounds like. Giant revolving stage, though, sounds very, European. Like, I don't know if you know about Rammstein, where they have, like, these crazy shows with, like, fire and pyrotechnics, and, like, at some point they had to stop playing in the U.S. because we don't allow all that shit because we're boring. Fucking Slipknot used to put on crazy-ass shows where they had, the drummer in this machine that he was harnessed into a machine, and the drum would lift up and then it would turn sideways and then it would spin around while he was on it playing drums. And they'd have fire and shit, and they had to cut out all the pyrotechnics and stuff because of weak ass regulations. Number 2, imaginary flying machines. You like metal, you like Ghibli, why not both? Haven't heard you mention them, so just passing it along. It's kind of hit or miss for me personally, but their renditions of Country Road, Mononoke Hime, and Tonari no Totoro are fucking badass and frequently feature the criminally underhyped Yoko Hallelujah. If you decide to look her up, be prepared for involuntary 3D waifuism. Okay, I'm definitely curious about that. That was a lot of words I don't expect to hear in the same paragraph together. Number 3, Nicholas Chung. This guy came out of nowhere and had a permanent effect on how I perceive music with his Glorious and Free EP. In the wake of Samurai Champloo and all the Nujabes imitators that have followed, Chung stood out to me with his beautiful and mathematical approach. Unfortunately, he hasn't done much outside of this one album other than occasional collabs with frankly average rappers. Yeah, mathematical Nujabes does sound interesting. Number 4, Moderator. This guy makes some of the strongest deep/boom bap beats I've ever heard, and he combines them with these panned metallic samples. I'm not too experienced with music, so I can't really word it why I like it so much. So check it out for yourself if the song sounds good. He puts everything he makes up on his YouTube channel. Also, shout out to Bob42JH for promoting Moderator among so many other fantastic jazzy hip-hop producers. Bob's was checking out for the insane variety of artists he compiles and releases. Now, I will say that I noticed some people really like panned sounds. I never listen to music on headphones, and when I do, I feel this deep revulsion for left and right panning because I don't expect it. I listen to everything on speakers, so I don't even notice when stuff is panned in one direction or the other. So when I put on headphones and I can deal with it if it's consistent. Something like Blank Banshee, it usually goes to one speaker than the other, there's some balance to it. Or the Mars Volta will do a lot of stuff that goes side to side, and I'm fine with that. But there's some artists who will completely put one instrument in one ear and one instrument in the other, and I'm fucking stop it. I can't deal with that. I've got some minute levels of OCD. I can't stand things being out of order or out of symmetry. So that drives me crazy. I always find it's so weird to me when I'm I'm so not used to it. I never listen to music on headphones. So in the rare occasion that I do, I'm this is totally different from how I know it. Songs that I love suddenly become songs I hate when I listen to them on headphones sometimes. Alright, number 5, Lullatone. Comfy. That's all caps and spaces. Comfy. Their music is all about evoking a specific feeling, but the magic of it really came together when I read their descriptions of each album. Even their songs are named explicitly for the vibes they were going for, and it all comes together to form an intimate and densely thoughtful experience. Feels hipster typing that out, but just give the album a listen, man. I actually have heard of Lullatone, because a lullatone is an instrument, and they just named themselves after the instrument. The band Opeth has used a lullatone. They have an alternate version of their song Porcelain Heart that uses a lullatone. And I think also the song Shintashima uses a lullatone, which is a really cool song that is just kind of a rip-off of the King Crimson song Epitaph, but it's really cool. I think it uses a lullatone. Look that up. I know this next band, number 6, Die Antwoord. I'm almost sure you've heard of Die Antwoord, but I'm putting them on my list anyways. Best listened to / viewed as a case study in how to go full retard in the best way possible. They started out as a hip-hop sketch comedy / parody band, but gradually embraced their fans and stereotypes to the point of near absurdity. This was a song and music video where I officially stopped being able to tell if they were joking anymore, and I couldn't be happier with the path they choose. Aside from Chappie, I have no idea what that was. Yeah, me neither. I did not know that they started as a parody band. I just thought they were an ignorant-ass hip-hop group. But, thing about Die Antwoord is it's too much for me. Her voice is just way too high, and I can't deal with it. But weirdly enough, my mom is way into Die Antwoord. And it came out of nowhere. My mom's like a hard rock person. Like she listens to like mostly like System of a Down and Serge Tankian. This is her shirt, or like she got it for me, you know. She just like has a bunch of these. She has tons of System of a Down crap. She's way into like Satyricon and a bunch of like black metal and stuff. And she's not really into hip hop or anything. She kind of likes dance music and some stuff like that, but like out of nowhere, she just suddenly got into Die Antwoord after like 5 years of not getting into any new music. This was like this year. She's just all of a sudden a huge Die Antwoord fan. It was really bizarre. I never would have seen it coming. But it kind of makes sense, because if there's any, like, if I had to imagine the kind of person who listens to Die Antwoord, it would probably be someone like my mom. But yeah, Chappie that was a fucking weird movie. Alright, number 7. An Anime Belle, ANOMIEBELLE. First saw her at a Ninja Tunes show Blockhead was headlining. She honestly showed him and everyone else up. She got up on stage and started playing like 5 instruments at the same time while singing with that tremendous voice of hers, and immediately blew my mind. She went on to sing 3 or 4 more songs, each with a entirely different style. She's very active on Facebook and still directly replies to all of her fans. I don't know how this woman isn't world famous, and I selfishly never want her to become more recognized than she is. That's understandable. And lastly, number 8, Ujiko, aka Snail's House. This is just the coolest fuck song that I have been obsessed with for the past 8 months. Promoted by Waifu Wednesdays, which is run by the illustrious Hentai Dude. Ever heard of him? If so, collab win. I have not heard of him, but he sounds like a gentleman and a scholar. This is already getting long, so I'll end it with a question. How do you listen to music? I don't remember seeing you wear headphones in any videos I've seen, and I don't recall you ever talking about it. I'd gladly send you a good pair if you don't have one of your own, from 2 subs. P.S. If anyone at TPC House wants evidence-based assistance with fat fuckery, holla. Also, why is beta an insult? They are the most well-laid. I don't think you can technically be well-laid and be beta. I think you might be conflating 2 different things there, possibly, but I'm not sure. And there's more stuff from a multi-ceased cross-cultural replication of Upper's unsuccessful self-treatment of writer's block. It's just like 1 page of the beginning of a study here. Don't know what that's about. But how I listen to music is, like I just said, through speakers. I rarely listen through headphones. I do have a decent pair of headphones. I have M50s, the Audio-Technica headphones, which are like the most mid-range headphones you can get. It's like $125, so they're like above low end, but they're not high end. They're like, you know, for people who want good sound quality, but not audiophile, which is kind of how all of my audio equipment is. All of it is like expensive to a layman, but to an expert, it's the cheapest acceptable thing, you know. But I don't listen to music on headphones almost ever. I don't like feeling trapped with it. I don't like not being able to hear things outside, you know? Like, I live at the top of a flight of stairs, and if someone's coming up the stairs, I want to hear them coming up the stairs. It's really, like, it terrifies me when, like, someone comes into my room and I didn't know they were coming, or something like that. And I also just don't like to have things on my head, strapped to my head. I'm also not the kind of person who, like, I can tell the difference between sound quality. I know some people who just can't. Some people, like, literally don't know the difference between the sound coming out of their phone or their laptop or their computer or their headphones. I know the difference, but I don't necessarily prefer it to sound better. Sometimes I think music has an aesthetic that comes through at a worse recording quality and stuff. I mean, there's some stuff you really want to hear in nice quality. A lot of well-produced hip-hop music sounds like shit if it's coming out of a fucking phone speaker, you know. My new car, has not the best stereo. It doesn't have much bass. And, like, Run the Jewels and Good Kid, Mad City sound like shit coming out of it. But, like, for, you know, scratchy, lo-fi, like, folk music or something, it sounds great. It sounds better than it would coming out of, you know, M50s or a nice computer headphones. So, yeah, I'm not that picky about how it sounds, but I can tell the difference. All right, this last one is a huge package that's just sent via Merch Now, which I believe is a merch website. I don't know what this, I don't entirely know what it is, but I don't know who sent it. But I'll probably find out before too very long. Okay, I know exactly what this is. This is, I thought this was being sent to my house, not to my P.O. box. But, a guy named Asher, who's a big fan, and who is often on the pub crawl, though he doesn't speak on the pub crawl. He just, like, listens. He is a huge fan of the band The Deer Hunter, and I am a big fan of the band The Deer Hunter, and he decided to buy me their new album, Act 5, which he also, I guess, got like a super edition or something, because it also has a t-shirt, which is pretty cool. It's got like it's like a Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull! Which is a song by Mastodon that's totally unrelated, but I have no idea what this symbolizes. I haven't seen it on any of their album artwork before, but it's a pretty cool shirt, and it's got a good texture to it, so I like that. But I believe in this box is the vinyl copy of their new album, Act 5. Ooh, yeah. That's some pretty dope cover art right there. The Deer Hunter is a band that I was really... this is a cool like little poster that it came with. I dig that. I'll probably put that up somewhere. Some dope art. It says The Dime on it. The very lovely ladies of The Dime will be performing 12th Night. The Dime is like a whorehouse in the story of this album. So The Deer Hunter is this band that they have these albums that are all called Act, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's supposed to be 6 total in the end, that are telling a story of like this character's entire life as he, lives through. It takes place in like the 1800s, I think. It's pretty interesting, but I got into them because they opened for Coheed and Cambria once, and I just like investigated their music to see, because I was like, I'm going to see this band live, so I might as well know what they sound like. And I thought they were pretty cool. Their first 3 albums I was way into for like a long while. Oh, this is a double LP. Nice gatefold here. And yeah, Acts 1, 2, and 3 were really cool, and I was way into it. And then for like years, they started like doing other stuff. Like they put out these EPs that were the color spectrum EPs, where they made a 4-track EP for every color on the visible spectrum and black and white. And those were okay, but I wasn't that into them. Like, I wasn't as into them as I was into the Act albums. And then they released this other album called Migrant, which was just kind of, like, weak, and it just wasn't the same sound, and I was like, alright, I'm kind of losing interest. But then, last year, they came back, and they finally made Act 4, and it was pretty good. I don't like it as much as the first 3, but I was like, okay, they've sort of returned to form, and now they've got Act 5. So, the story is barreling towards completion. This album leaked a little bit ago. I've listened to most of it. I've never given it like a full complete listen, and so I have yet to really form an opinion on it. But I do like the cover art, and I still need to buy Act 4 on vinyl as well. I own the first 3 on CD, but I'd really like to have the Act 4 vinyl because that one has the coolest cover art. But I like the blue on this. I'm a big fan of the color blue, if you couldn't tell from my thumbnails. All my most successful thumbnails are blue. So anyway, that's all the new mail. I'll combine this with the other videos. This was actually a really long mail video in spite of what I said at the beginning of the video, but that's because it's actually 2 mail videos combined, which is cool. I felt like it would flood the channel with mail videos if I put them out too often. I haven't been doing as many vlogs because I've been busy with other stuff, so hopefully this was cool. I know that, the people who watch the mail videos probably don't care how long they are, because if you're actually watching them, you're in it for the long haul anyways. So see you in the next one. Thanks again to everybody, and keep sending me cool shit, because I love it.